Welcome to Wired to Hunt's Unconventional Wisdom, where we take one commonly held deer hunting belief and examine an unexpected alternative. All the time, we talk about how deer react to hunting pressure. When you hunt a spot, deer know it, they react to it, they change their behavior. That's a pretty obvious thing. It's something that impacts a lot of what we do as deer hunters. But sometimes you should overhunt or stand. And I want to talk about when those situations occur. The whole deal that we're trying to avoid is deer moving off and doing something different. Well, there are certain situations when deer will not move off. One of those examples is during their rut, when there is a hot doe in a small specific area. Sometimes that doe and that rutting activity, that chasing and breeding and fighting or whatever it might be, it will happen in one key zone, and that's the hot spot. Wherever that one doe is, that's where the bucks are going to be. The old saying that you should never leave fish to find fish absolutely applies to deer as well. If you're in the hot zone, if you're in that action, don't think that just because Mark has told you previously not to overhunt the same stand over and over, that you shouldn't if you're seeing something that tells you otherwise. If you are hunting mature bucks and you see a mature buck in there on day one, and then again on day two within range, like if it's happening right in there, trust your eyes, because sometimes deer don't follow the rules. Sometimes bucks act differently than the average buck does. And if you're seeing that, take advantage of it. Don't blindly follow what the best practices are. There are some places and situations where quote unquote volume hunting, hunting the same place over and over again, makes sense. So in a low deer density area, you've got a situation where your pressure, your presence might not make an impact at all because there just might not be deer around you on a given day. So in a spot, let's say far northern Michigan or northern Wisconsin or parts of Maine, there might be 3, 4, 5 deer in a square mile. So you could hunt all day there and not have a negative impact at all. You could maybe go back the next day, and that might be the day that big old buck actually comes strolling through. If you arbitrarily thought that, well, I hunted day one and there was nothing, so you moved somewhere else, you would never be there in the position to take advantage of the fact that that buck does come through once every 3, 6 days or whatever it might be. So you gotta kind of get a feel for where you're at. There are also other time-dependent periods where you have a mast crop hitting the ground, like an apple tree that's dropping, or a ridge with oaks that is just littered with acorns, where you know that everything in the area wants to be hitting this at some point. That can be a place that's worth riding out. If you leave it because you want to hunt some new spot, when you come back a week later, it could be done and dried up. So you want to take advantage of these hot spots while they are hot. Watch what's happening. Try to think about, are they reacting to me or not? And trust what you see. I was hunting this past season for a buck in Michigan. I kept telling myself, man, you gotta keep moving around. You gotta keep this deer on edge. I bumped him one time. A doe winded me one time. One time he circled downwind of me. And I kept thinking, man, the jig's up. I should go try something totally different. But then I'd see him in there again the next day. And I realized that I was overcomplicating things. I was putting these ideas on this buck of what a buck should do. This buck just didn't do it. And I finally realized I need to trust my eyes. I need to listen to what the deer is telling me. And what that deer was telling me is that he wanted to be here, no matter what I did. And I listened, and eventually I killed him. So sometimes, while it's usually a good idea to move around, it's usually a good idea not to put pressure on a deer too often in the same place, sometimes it's not true. Sometimes you should overhunt a stand. If you want more information like this, be sure to tune into the Wired Hunt podcast or the Wired Hunt Foundation's mini-series. We've got new deer hunting know-how every week. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.